Hello everyone, my name is the RetroDen, and today we have more of an unscripted video because I'm going to take you through the platinums I've done and I'm working on ever since 2024 started. So I took a look at my PSNP profile and I looked at what I've been playing ever since 2024 started, what I've platinumed, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to make a follow-up video to my Road to 50 platinum trophies that I started way back in October 2023 in order to keep you guys posted as I said I would, but in a more global approach. So without further delays and jumping right into the PS5, let's start by the first game I started and haven't already finished in 2024, which is Risk of Rain 2. If you know Risk of Rain 2, it's a roguelite game which is very fun single player or with friends. It can take up to a lot of hours. You can do very big runs in this game. As you can see, I've only completed 45% of it. I know it has DLC with the Survivors of the Void, but the trophies are easier on the PlayStation than on the PC, so I think I might do this whenever I have the time. I'm going to complete it because this is probably my favorite roguelike game, and I bought it to play with a friend, but we haven't had time to play together yet, and he hasn't even started the game, so I'm putting it on hold until I have some more time or I feel like playing it again. Then I got my first platinum trophy of the year with LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. This was a game I bought on release on the PC, but I only got to play it sit down and actually play it from beginning to end in the beginning of 2024, with the year starting and the things being more slow around this time of the year. I thought I'd sit down and play it from start to finish, and it took me a total of 91 hours. I know for a Lego game it took me quite a lot of time, but it was worth it because the amount of characters this game has and the amount of content it has, even though it can get quite dull at times, it's pretty fun for me. If you're a Star Wars fan and a Lego fan, this is a game you need to play because it's the culmination of everything they've been building up ever since they started the Lego games with the Lego Star Wars the video game way back on the PS2. Moving on, we have what has pretty much been the worst platinum of the year, which is Danmachi Infinite Combat. It's basically a game based on the anime Danmachi. It's a dungeon crawler in which you go through dungeons as one of the main characters and a side character as well, and it's very, very repetitive. All you had to do was spam your way through dungeons and through the visual novel type part of the game. The gameplay wasn't fluid. You can see this was a very bad game which I had to push myself through. I didn't want to play it that much, but I bought it, so I had to, in my mind, I had to finish it because I spent the money and I just pushed my way through it and eventually got the platinum, because even though it's 40 hours I wasted, it's at least one more platinum for my account. Moving on to one of the first games I dropped this year, which is Castlevania Requiem, Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood. Now, don't get me wrong, these are amazing games. As you can see, I got a lot of trophies and I even completed the first game, which is Rondo of Blood. The thing is, I really don't like Castlevania. I tried getting into it, but the artificial difficulty is too much for me. I don't like the bad enemy placement that replaces what would be an otherwise decent game. Like, I like going through the castle, like using the abilities in the characters, especially in Symphony of Night, which has some RPG elements that I really digged, and I even beat the 100% part of the game. But once I got to the 200% part of the game where you have to go through the inverted castle, I lost progress because the game doesn't autosave, which is really strange to me why you would port a game and not give it autosave, but I guess it's a product of its time. But I played as much as I could. I enjoyed my way through the normal playthrough of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but I'm not going to platinum because that was the final point for me when I lost that 1 hour of progress in the middle of my second playthrough. Then we have Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6, as all of you know, fighting game. I'm working my way through it. I'm playing it whenever I can. I'm working towards it whenever I go to a Street Fighter tournament. I play a little bit of it and try to get 1 or 2 trophies. I'm scared of the tournament trophies, which are the hardest ones, because you have to play the online tournaments, which are set in specific dates, and at least you don't have to win. You only have to win, like, I don't think you don't have to win tournaments, you have to win matches inside the tournament, so that makes it easier, but nevertheless it's going to be a platinum that takes me some time. As you can see here, I've done some avatar battles, I've even done some of the world tour. The single player for this game is actually pretty fun. I like going through the open world, exploring and fighting random people in the street, learning abilities from the new masters. This part has actually been pretty fun considering what I thought it was going to be compared to the campaign of Street Fighter V, which was just going through a series of battles. Moving on, we have another LEGO game in the form of LEGO Harry Potter, The Collection. I played only the first one, years 1 to 4, and it was a 40-hour 100%. It's basically your general formula of LEGO game. You have to play through the entire campaign, get all the collectibles and characters. This one wasn't that bad, I thought it could be worse. I had some trouble doing some things in some of the levels, but nothing that an online guide didn't solve. I'm going to play the second one this year because I thought I would get some of the LEGO games in my backlog this year out of the way, and I'm really excited to play LEGO City Undercover. That's one I want to get through soon, but this was the last LEGO game I did this year. Next, I decided I was going to play a 3D platform, which was Psychonauts 2. Now, this game was the best surprise I ever had this year. I loved the story, I loved the gameplay, I loved how the moment-to-moment gameplay felt, the world building, the level design, it felt so fluid. This is probably one of the best 3D platformers that reminds me of the old OG PS2 platformers that I played. I liked the variety of the abilities, I liked how the game looked. It looked pretty good. Let me just say that for a PS4 version that was ported from Xbox to PS4 and the game that was released quite a considerable time ago, this was a beautiful game that held up pretty well. The animations were pretty good, and the story, man, the story was just amazing. I know why people waited for this game for 15 years now, and I feel like they got what they deserved by buying and playing Psychonauts 2, and so I got the platinum for it. Next, I started Helldivers 2 to play with some friends, and I get where the hype's coming from with Helldivers. It's a fun game to play co-op, but I'm not really into trophy hunting in these games unless I have dedicated trophy hunting friends who are doing it with me, which wasn't the case for this game. I played it with some friends who are not trophy hunters at all, and it got quite frustrating while I was trying to chase trophies online because even though I know it's a product of the game itself, I don't really like the team killing in the online, the friendly fire, and just how chaotic it gets when you're playing with randoms, so I'm not going to do this anytime soon. Maybe sometime in the future I'll get a pre-made group so I can really get my claws into Helldivers and understand it and enjoy it better, but for now this game is going to stay as it is. I played like 5 to 6 hours of it, which isn't really that much, but I enjoyed what I played, don't get me wrong. Moving on, we have probably one of my favorite games I played this year. I know, really cliche of me, the guy who has a lot of Star Wars videos to talk about Star Wars Jedi Survivor and saying it's one of my favorite platinums. It was definitely maybe one of my favorite platinums this year. I loved platinuming Jedi Fallen Order, and the sequel is even better. This game builds upon everything the first one did and improves on it. It has a way more content. The world is amazing to explore. I love the planets. I love the story. I think they did something amazing and they have an opportunity to make a perfect game with the third one. I didn't experience any of the bad port experiences that a lot of people had in the first time because I played the improved and good version of the game, which was already patched. I played it 1 year later, so I think I finished this in February this year, if I'm not wrong. But it was a very good experience, and if you can get it for a good price, I think it's usually at $35.99, you should grab this, grab Jedi Fallen Order, and platinum both. Because if you like Star Wars, this is going to be an amazing story for you to experience, and even if you don't like Star Wars, these are amazing games with amazing combat and decently fun exploration for you to go and enjoy. When it comes to March, in early March, I think midway through the month, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection released. Now this was a game I was expecting ever since it was announced. I bought it on the first day, I pre-ordered it because Star Wars Battlefront, the classic ones from 2004 and 2005, are some of my personal favorite games of all time. And the collection did disappoint when it comes to the multiplayer, which was supposed to be the main aspect of it. But I did get the platinum. I was one of the first people to get it when it released. I got it on the second day and I was the 6th one. I didn't get top 5 by 30 minutes because I think a German guy got it 30 minutes before me. But this was quite a tiring experience. I had to get all the medals. But in all honesty, this is something everyone could do. It's an easy platinum, maybe a 2 or 3 out of 10. Game should take you around 20 hours. And the single player works quite well. Honestly, when I was a kid, I didn't play this online. I had no concept of online games were. I played on the PS2, so this was quite the fun experience for me. The game is just as it was back then. I didn't even try the new characters they added, the Saj Ventress and the Kit Fisto, but I had a lot of fun playing the single player, and it was quite a throwback even though the version wasn't as good as people expected it to be. Then we have what is probably my definite game of the year, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And there aren't enough words to describe how this game made me feel. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just like Jedi Survivor and what I told you a few minutes ago, is a complete improvement on Remake, which I have already platinumed. It's an amazing game. The story is so deep. They made the characters so well developed that you could feel even more of what you felt when playing the original version back in 97. The characters have much more expression and you can really feel the intensity of the emotional moments, and the moment-to-moment gameplay is even better. The world exploring feels more fluid, the combat has a lot more options since you have more abilities in this game with more materia, more characters to control, giving you more options of combos you can do and opportunities to exploit the combat, making it easier on yourself. That's not to say the game is easy, the game is quite hard, and once you get to the end of the game, there are quest lines and combat simulations which will make it very hard for you to platinum this game. As you know, PSNP rates this game as an 8 out of 10, 200-hour platinum, and I've already got to the point where I'm noticing why it is an 8 out of 10. The combat simulations and the bosses through to the final of the game are very hard. I haven't experienced hard mode yet. I thought it would be better for me to pause my playthrough after beating the normal game. I did all the side content, but I want to have a little bit of a time interval between my first playthrough and my second one, so I can really just let the game simmer and not ruin my experience right away by going for the platinum straight after finishing the base game. Right after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we have probably my stupidest project I've started yet, which is Final Fantasy XIV. Yes, I started platinum hunting an MMORPG with over 1,000 hours of content. I know you're probably thinking this ruined my completion, and yes, it did. I went down by 5% in my PSN profiles after starting and getting one trophy in this game, but it's a good payoff because I'm having a lot of fun and I plan on getting as many trophies as I can in order to get my completion up and to have fun. I've been in a Final Fantasy content binge and I thought playing Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy XIV online was a good way to finally know some of the story that everyone, ever since I played WoW back in the day, said was amazing. So I think it finally came to my turn to enjoy the game. I'm playing with a friend and I've been hunting. I'm playing a paladin and it's been pretty fun. So I hope in the near future I can tell all of you guys that I've gotten more trophies in it. I'll probably make a separate video when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV because there's a lot to be said about this game, as you can probably imagine. But I've gotten 2 trophies until now, which were the Art of War 1, which is getting Disciple of War or Magic character to level 50, in this case my Gladiator or Paladin, and I got the one for completing 100 Fates because I already know I have to complete 3,000 of them, yes, 3,000 of them, so I just decided to start going for them while I played the normal campaign. Currently I'm about 50 to 60 hours in. We're currently in the Final Fantasy XIV and Final Fantasy XVI event, so I'm having fun with that as well. But other than that, this is a game that's going to take me a lot of time. I'll probably never even platinum it because it's such a big game and you have to spend like 90 to 80 hours just collecting things. Like you have a trophy to collect or to make 5,000 items and you have one to gather 8,000 other items. So this is probably something that will either take me years to do or I won't even do at all, but it's a pretty fun game that I want to play nonetheless. And to finish out the video, we have a game that has already been on my playlist for a long time, but I decided it was finally time to come back to it and start cracking at the trophies because I have to up that completion up to 70%, which is my current goal. So Jak X, if you know anything about Jak, it was a platformer from the PS2, just like Ratchet & Clank, but they have a spin-off which is a racing game called Jak X. As you can see by the time I got my first and last trophy, this was one of the last ones I got, which was the gold standard Green Echo Cup by completing all the races in the Green Cup with gold medals. I got it today as I'm recording this video, which is the 4th or the 3rd of April of 2024, and I have like the first trophy here in 2023 to, I think it's September. I can't count months through the number, I'm really dumb in that way, sorry. But yeah, I have like months, trophies that are months apart, but I'm taking slow cracks at it, and I plan on platinuming it soon, since it's not that big of a platinum. You just have to unlock cars, and there's like a save thing you can do to save yourself the trouble of grinding currency when you have to buy the things at the end of the game, just by farming a quarter of the currency and having 4 saves and buying the 4 things separately in different saves, so you unlock all trophies from the get-go. But basically this is it. This is all I've been working on. As you can see, I already have more plans to get my completion up. I have downloaded Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is a game I have like 3% because it was bugged for me on the PS4, but I plan on taking a crack at it soon. I still have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth installed, and I want to play the original Final Fantasy VII and the Endwalker as well. So I'm going to keep taking slow cracks at it. I'm going to keep grinding trophies and making videos while I grind Endwalker, and I try to get my life together because this is a lot to play at the same time. I'm probably eventually going to make a full collection video once I get to like 30 trophies. I think it's a fair number if you guys want to know more about my trophies that I got in 2023, which was the year I started trophy hunting since I got my PS5. There's also a video that on the channel. Other than that, make sure to check out the video where I tell you how you guys can pick your next platinum trophy, or give some tips in how you can ease the process of choosing your next platinum trophy. My PSN profile will be down in the description below, so if you want to check out my trophies for yourself on the website, you can do that way. You are always free to add me on PlayStation and Steam. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment if you want to know something that I can answer. But other than that, all that algorithm jazz, this has been the Retro Dan, and I'm out.